about it, but they worship their own little gods into believing and thinking that they can override the main power. Like now, you can't, come on brother, you can't do that. Like Esau knows that he's going down, and I'm talking about the powers that be. They know they're going to go down and they're going to go into derision, but there's a demon that's in them that's making them do certain things to try to upset the prophecy. That's why they spending millions and millions of dollars or billions of dollars in pounds, let me include that as well, to stop certain things.
Yeah.
To try to, putting lead in the water, putting all kind of chemicals in the water, so that they can pretty much try to destroy the men of the Lord.
Yeah.
That's really why they're doing it. Because their thing is if they can stop us from doing what we're doing, that means the Most High would then have to control his plan. But that ain't gonna happen. Water. Yeah. Go on, bro.
Verse 19 it says, Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him.
Right, his thoughts troubled him, because now he knew what it was when Daniel broke it down to him. He understood what the hell was going to happen now. Right? Because it was going to happen when he broke the interpretation down in the book of Daniel, 7th chapter, concerning that statue, right? What he was really saying is, look, see, what's going to happen is the Persians and the Medes, they're going to come and kick your ass, and they're going to pretty much take your kingdom. Now, when you read about the Persian Empire, or should I say the book of Daniel 7, where it talks about how the bed had the 3 ribs of it, right? Now, the 3 ribs is talking about Babylon, that they took over, Lydia, and I believe one was Egypt. I think I'm wrong on that one. But those are the 3 ribs that Babylon, the Persians and the Medes took down, took over.
The king spake and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong,
so now it's breaking it down for you, right there. Go on.
Whose height reached unto the heaven.
Oh, it says whose height reaches to the heavens. So when we go to New York City, or when we go to main cities of the world, one of them being London, England as well, right? What do we see? We see these high, tall buildings, right? So what does these high, tall buildings represent? What do they signify? They signify the pride of Esau. All right? Just like the tree signified the height of Belshazzar or Nebuchadnezzar. But the Most High set it up to where the tree was to be cut down, which would then represent the condition, this lower condition now. Go on.
It says the tree which thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven.
It's an ER right now.
And the sight thereof to all the earth. Whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwell.
Right,
and
so it was good for all. It was good for all. That's what the word meat means. The word meat means good. So it was good for these other nations to be under. They lived deliciously. Like Moab, Ammon, all right, Ishmael, Elam, all of these nations, man, they living good under Esau right now. So it's the same thing now, right, as it was back then. And as we just read in the book of, Revelations, the 18th chapter, it talked about how the merchantmen, why did they Because they lost all of that money. Yeah? They lost all of that money when the business, when America got destroyed, that's when the business pretty much went downhill, man. And there was no more mechanism or anything to keep their economy going. So that's why they're going well, because of the destruction of America.
It says, I'll start here again, it says, whose leaves were fair and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwell.
Read up a little bit.
The tree, verse 20, the tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth.
Oh, and it says, in the sight thereof all the earth. not all of the earth, but major parts that was surrounding Babylon at the time. Go on.
And the sutter of all of the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much.
Right,
and
it was a beautiful kingdom. Go on.
And in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwell.
Because see, Esau, or should I say, the way the West sees the word fair, ultimately means that you was pretty much of a lighter shade. Your light skin or whatever. That's what they say. But the word fair means beautiful. That's what it means. It means beautiful. So that's how the Most High is going to make us. He's going to make us beautiful again. Which we're going to get into that next. Go on, bro.
Says, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation.
Right, says the fowls of the heaven, meaning the other nations that they get. Go on.
Says, it is thou, O King, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. Right, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. So Babylon was a superb, great kingdom. I mean, he was living good, man. All right, he must have been living really good. He had everything under his foot. And this kingdom exceeded even unto the ends of the earth. So Babylon wasn't just some fly-by-night society, man. This society was a mighty one. All right, the thought of you rised up against that particular society, it was, you was really pretty much looking to commit suicide, man. That's how great Babylon was. It still went down. And guess what? Because it was so great, it ruled only for a short period of time, which was what, 63 years? Go on, bro. It's verse 23. It says, and whereas the king saw a watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven and saying,
like what a holy was, what a watcher was going.
Hew the tree down and destroy it.
Right.
Yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth.
Right.
Even with a band of iron and brass.
Right, exactly. So, like I said, the tree represented the state or the condition of Nebuchadnezzar. So when you cut the tree down, right, when you cut that big ass tree down and you left the stump of it, what that really represented was, as well as, is that Nebuchadnezzar, all he had was himself. He didn't have all of that extra stuff that he had before. Yeah? That's what that represents. Go on.
It says, hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field.
Yeah, keep going.
And let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him.
That's it on that, right?
This is it just repeats it again.
Okay.
It says, this is the interpretation, O King. This is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my Lord the King.
Right.
Scott could read it.
All right, go on. You got something. Just bring it out.
Proverbs 8 and 15 says, by me kings reign and princes decree justice. So basically that's the Lord saying to you that the only reason anyone sat up on this earth is because he's put them there, man.
Yeah.
So it's through the power of the Lord that he's still running things.
Yeah, that's right.
Although he thinks it's himself.
That's a very good point. It's a very, very good point. So everything happens for a reason, man. And the reason why Esau is ruling right now is so that his law can be fulfilled. And we always kind of go into this sort of subject matter, but this is what the Lord wants us to bring up. Because I didn't really plan on going into this particular topic. The Spirit is just bringing it out, So we gotta just roll with the Spirit. Let's go on.
It says, verse 20.
And after that, brother, give me Ezekiel 17. Read what you got, though. Finish what you got. Give me this.
It says, verse 25, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
Right, that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
And giveth it to whomsoever he will.
Right, and give it to whomsoever he will. So Esau has some time, but it's not everlasting that he's going to rule for, because this is not the kingdom. This raggedy, decrepit society where people are sick to death, this is not the kingdom. I don't care how much enjoyment you see out there. A lot of people are enjoying themselves, they're really depressed.
Yeah.
They're really catching hell. So if this is their time to enjoy themselves, hey, this is their time to do it.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
Psalms chapter 75, verse 7. But the Most High is the judge, he putteth down one and setteth up another.
Nice, brother, nice.
Exactly, that's a very good precept.
Yeah, yeah.
The Most High is the judge. He set up one and put him down another. And that's what this is all about. Because who came before Esau? If we analyze it, the Persians and the Medes. And the reason why I went all the way back to the Persians and the Medes, because it started with the Greeks. When Esau came into power the first time, it started with the Greeks. And that's why in the school systems, they will always teach you that civilization started with the Greeks. But when you go further back, a couple of more thousand years ago, you find out that that wasn't the case. You find out that the Bushites, they set up the first society, which was what you call the Tower of Babel, which you can read in the book of Genesis chapter 11. That was the first society that was ever to move the earth, not the Greeks. Okay?
For in the hand of the Lord Yahawah there is a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out.
Right, and all of the dregs thereof. Excuse me, read that again.
For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out.
Right, they're going to wring them out and they're going to drink up the dregs. So who is the wicked of the earth? The wicked of the earth is the so-called white man. That's evident, that's proven. Alright? Even if we're not mad at Esau, we have to just tell the truth as it is. The truth of the matter is that he is the wicked of the earth. Right? I mean, look how the earth is being governed. Look at the things that was done in the past that he did on the earth. I mean, that's enough to declare if you got some common sense working through the brain to know that he's the wicked of the earth. Alright? It's solidified, man. Go on, bro.
Job 21 and 21. For what pleasure hath he in his house after him, when the number of his months is cut off in the midst?
Right. The number of his months are cut off in the midst. Go on.
Shall any teach the Most High knowledge?
Right.
Seeing he judgeth those that are high.
Right. Seeing that he judgeth those that are high. So the Most High, he's mainly in tune with the king. That's why it tells you also that he's able to manipulate the mindset of the king. In the book of Proverbs, it says that the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord, and he will whatsoever he will. So the Most High, he's in control of all of these different current events that happen. There's a current event that happened that all begins with the king, right? And then it goes down to the lower minions. It goes down to the police, and then it goes down to the executive government. But if the king has a certain thought that he wants to execute and put into action, that thought came from the Most High.
Right.
Alright? Just like the whole idea of the mark of the beast system, which is the biometric system, or the RFID chip itself, that was set up by the Most High. The Most High put it in the minds of the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds to pretty much manifest that technology, so that Revelations the 13th chapter can be fulfilled. And then ultimately it will be declared that the Lord is a man of his word, and that he's a man that he should not lie. Right. According to the book of Numbers 24. I think it's Numbers 23, verse 19, to be exact.
Psalms 115, verse 16. The heaven, even the heavens are the Lord's.
Right. But even the heavens and the heavens are the Lord's.
But the earth hath he given to the children of men.
But the earth hath he given to the children of men. So what this is really saying as well is that the Most High, he controls pretty much all that's within his existence, right? But we also have some level of control on certain things on this planet. So there's different levels of power and who controls what. We may have control of certain things, but the Most High has control of everything. Right? And we only have control of what of the things that are in the heavens. Okay? You got something, yeah?
Ezekiel 17:22 says, thus saith the Lord power.
Yeah, that's all right. Let me read this. Go on.
Thus saith the Lord power, I will also take of the highest branch of the high cedar and will set it. I will crop
off
from the top of his young twigs a tender one, and will plant it upon a high mountain.
Right, so the tender and the weak one is going to be planted upon a high mountain. Go on.
An eminence. In the mountain of the height of Israel will I plant it.
And that's what he was talking about. So the tender weak, what is it? Plant, right? He was going to sit at the buck. Am I correct?
Yeah.
He was going to sit at the buck. Okay, go on.
Yeah, it says, in the mountain of the height of Israel will I plant it, and it shall bring forth boughs and bear fruit.
Right, and bear fruit, go on.
And be a goodly cedar.
And be a goodly cedar. So how is that cedar going to be a goodly cedar? This is all parabolic talk. See, this is why people, when they pick up the Bible, they don't understand what it's talking about. And they say it's rubbish or it's bollocks. Because they don't have the vision. They don't have the, they're not the seers. We are the seers that are able to break these things down. This is why we at the Great Millstone, beginning with the apostles, we have the 100% truth. You got some guys, they'll say, oh, well, you can't really say that. How can you say that? You can say that. Because we studied the whole book. And we're breaking down things that most Israelite groups can't break down. Okay? And that's not to be braggadocious. It's just the truth, man. Go on, brother.
And under it shall dwell all fowl of every wing.
Right, in the fowl of every wing.
In the shadow of the branches thereof shall they dwell.
Shall they dwell? In other words, the other nations, just like how they dwelled under Babylon, right? They're going to dwell under us now. They're going to be living good under us. They're going to be all right under us. Before they be under us and they live good, we got to kick their butt. We got to humble them. That's just, regulate things and put things in its proper perspective. Once that's all said and done, we're going to give them back their little portion of land or whatever, right? They're going to have their own little government, but they're still going to be tributaries under us. And that's not going to change. Go on, bro.
And all of the trees of the field shall know that I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree.
Right, so all of the different trees are going to know that the Most High brought down the high tree. So in other words, when the Most High destroys this kingdom, which is the greatest of them all, let's keep it real, right? They're going to know that there was a high power, a large working with us. Go on.
I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree, have exalted the low tree.
Right, exalted the low tree. Didn't he say in the book of Matthew, right? What is it? The first shall be last and the last shall be first. And that he would also exalt those that are base and abase those that are exalted. So this is what the Lord is going to do. Go on.
Have dried up the green tree and have made the dry tree to flourish. I, the Lord, have spoken and have done it.
Right, I, the Lord, have spoken it and I have done it. It was already done. But we just don't see the manifestation of it in the physical reality. But it was already done in the spiritual world. So if it was already done in the spiritual world, then it's going to happen in the physical reality. It has to happen. That's just the cause. That's just how nature is. If you set up anything in the spiritual world, which the Most High has the only power to do such a thing, then it's going to be down here on earth. Matter of fact, brother, what you got? Give me the book of Matthew 5. You got some, right? You read that.
Sirach chapter 10, verse 7. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man. Verse 8. Because unrighteousness, dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right, so it says the kingdom is the riches is translated from one kingdom to another. So wealth is not destroyed. Wealth has not been done away with at all. It's just transfer. So all of that wealth that the super elite banking families are setting up or hoarding, all of that wealth is going to be given back to us. That's why they hoard the wealth. They don't even realize what they're doing. But what they're doing is moving up again according to the will of the Heavenly Father. They're not doing their own thing. It looks like it, but they're not.
Verse 13, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination.
And the Most High is going to smack proud from the face of the earth. It's all going to be well known and documented by us that the Most High Ruleth do all. And the reason why everybody is proud and arrogant, because they believe that because of what they were taught, they have some sense of free will. But when we get into power, that way of thinking and that philosophy is going to be smacked out of the planet. And there's not going to be no proud on the earth. Even Esau, as proud as he is, he won't be proud on the earth. He's not going to have anything to be proud about. Yeah? So that's exactly what's getting ready to be fulfilled on this planet. And just westernized culture as a whole is a proud culture. It's a wild, animalistic, proud culture. And it's funny because the Most High put the pride in these people, beginning with Esau, so that the Lord can show what kind of power he got,
Right.
show who's really running things.
Right.
Yeah? That's what the Most High is doing. Go on, bro.
Pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination.
Right, he that have it shall pour out abominations, and that's why Esau is pouring out just that, an abomination. All right, putting people under the trance, putting women under the trance, thinking that they're equal to men. Putting men under the trance to have them believe that they're women, or vice versa. Yeah, so that's all that is. And really, technically, when you understand the scriptures in totality, right, as we do, as certain brothers do, yeah, you ain't really gonna get mad at these people because they're under the trance, man. Everybody out here is under the trance. They got some kind of demon on them that's possessing them to fulfill something. That's all it is. And this is real life. This is not something that I'm talking about. This is me talking about. This is real life.
Yeah.
Go on, bro.
And it says, and therefore the Lord brought up them upon them strange calamities,
Yes, sister, the Lord brought upon them strange calamities. Go on.
and overthrew them utterly.
It's either Matthew 6 or Matthew 5. Go on.
And the Lord brought upon them strange calamities, and overthrew them utterly.
Right, so what came out of the abominations? The calamities. What's going to bring forth the calamity? The place that we read in the Yahawah, in the book of 2nd Ezra, what is it, 9, and other chapters within that. We find out other things. So if there's an action, there's a reaction to that action that was being pretty much prepared, okay, or put into work. So Esau think that he's gonna just escape and somehow, some way, continue on his society and run into the sunset. That ain't gonna happen, man. Everything that Esau's been doing from the beginning of time, even up to this present moment in time, he's gonna have to pay for it when the kingdom is set up, man. And that's why when you read the book of John 16, what does it talk about?
I don't know where.
How the poor man, he was delivered unto what is Abraham's bosom, right? And the poor man, the rich man, he was going through so much hell that he pretty much was begging, look, can you just give me a little bit of peace? And the reason why Esau's going to be catching so much hell, not because of just slavery, not because of just 70 AD, but because of all of the things that he has done combined. So that tab is growing and growing. You understand? Like Esau has a lot of what is it, man? There's a lot of criminal acts that have been recorded in the heavens. That's the best way I can put it. You know? So yeah, keep going.
It says, the Lord hath cast down their thrones of the proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead.
Right, instead of the meek, let's read that one more time.
Verse 14, the Lord hath cast down the thrones of the proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead.
Right, so he had cast down the proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. Who is the meek talking about? The meek is talking about the nation of Israel. The meek would represent someone that's of a lowly position. That's what the meek represents. Alright? And those that are exalted, they're going to be living good. Or those that are in power, that control everything. Keep going.
The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations, and planted the lowly in their place.
You know,
The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations, and planted the lowly in their place.
Right, planted the lowly in their place. So let's still one thing first. Let's read that one more time. Let's pay attention to something.
Verse 14, verse 15, the Lord hath plucked up the root of the proud nations.
Right, he plucked up the root. When you pluck a plant by the root, does that plant grow? It's not going to grow anymore because you plucked the foundation out. So the Most High is going to wholly destroy His kingdom. Okay, go on.
I planted the lowly in their stead.
Planted the lowly in His stead. So there's going to be another plant that's going to be a plant that's going to be plucked up, and another one that's going to be planted. And we're going to be the plant that's going to be planted, and it's going to grow ever more. We're going to go, matter of fact, we're going to be done with Ezekiel 17. All right, go on.
The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundation of the earth.
I tell you what, brother. Start where you left. Start with that same precept again. I want to go back to Ezekiel 17 or something. Yeah, read about the plant box. All right.
Verse 14. Sirach chapter 10, verse 14. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of the proud princes and set up the meek in their stead.
Go on.
The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations.
Right, He plucked up the root of the proud nations. And now let's go back to Ezekiel 17. And this is how you gain understanding, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
Right, so Ezekiel 17 and 22 says, Thus saith the Lord power, I will also take of the highest branch of the high cedar and will set it. I will crop it off from the top
Louder,
with
louder
young
up.
twigs, a tender one, and will plant it upon a high mountain and eminent.
Right, and eminent. Look at the word eminent, brother. Be capital. I believe the word eminent is the first. If somebody, Baba Bashar, somebody can look it up for me. My phone's getting ready to run out. Yeah, if you want to know what we're talking about, we're pretty much showing our people that we're the Israelites. We're the pure Jews that the Bible speaks about. We're the Israelites. We're God's chosen people. Yeah. That's who we are. And you as well. Yeah, you're an Israelite. All right, man. That's all. I guess that's all you needed to know, right? Yeah. All right, go on. Yeah, read what you got since he's looking it up.
Again, from verse 14, the Lord hath cast down the thrones of the proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations,
Yeah.
and planted the lowly in their place.
And planted the lowly in their place. What place are we going to be planted? The land of Jerusalem. Not Africa or any other place of that matter. But Jerusalem is going to be the main place that we're going to be established in. And that little place right there is going to be well known around the earth. Okay, and what's going to be well known around the earth is that Esau, he's the devil that the Bible speaks about. Or he's the devil that whom the Most High created. Let's just further say that.
Right, the word eminent is talal, and it says to pile up, to elevate. Eminent, that's it.
Oh, it means to elevate. I like that word. I like the word elevate, and that's what we doing in this shoot. We in this shoot to elevate, man. We're not in this shoot to just be the same guys that we were 3 years ago, or the same dudes that we were 5 years ago. We here to elevate, man. We here to grow and elevate. Right? The scripture says, "Be ye as perfect as your Father in heaven." I believe that's in Matthew 5 and 48. Get Matthew 5 and 48, brother. Know what you got, though, and get Matthew 5 and 48. Because that's where we elevate to perfection. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we have to be. And if you ain't on that level, man, then hey, something's gonna happen to you. You're gonna get cut off. But you gotta move with the spirit of the church. Amen. Go on, bro.
Matthew 5 and 48 says, Be ye therefore perfect,
right,
even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
Exactly. So we gotta strive for perfection. Everything that's written in this book, we have to perform these things. Yeah, we could read it and memorize it, but it's a whole nother thing to put it into action. There's a whole nother power or vibration when you put it into action. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Elevating ourselves.
Right.
Okay? That includes fasting and praying and all kinds, man. That involves the scriptures. Go on, brother.
Ezekiel 17 and 23, it says, In the mountain of the height of Israel will I plant it.
Now, I'll tell you what, brother, hold on to that, because that's the main scripture I want anyway. Let him read this again so we can get back on the point.
Sirach chapter 10,
The plant part.
verse 15. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place.
Right, and plant. Alright, go on. I knew you was going to.
Verse 15, the Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place.
Planted the lowly in his place. So what particular plant is the Lord is going to plant? Let's find out in Ezekiel 17.
So Ezekiel 17 and 23. In fact, I'll start back at 22 again. It says, thus saith the Lord power, I will also take of the highest branch of the high cedar and will set it. I will crop it off from the top of his young twigs, a tender one, and will plant it upon a high mountain.
Right, the tender plant.
And eminent.
And eminent. In other words, he's going to elevate it. He's going to put it in first position. So that's the plant that he's going to set up, the tender plant. And the tender plant represents us. And the word tender means to put it means to be soft, right? If I'm correct. It means to be soft. Like for example, if you eat a tender steak, what is it?
Delicate.
Oh,
Delicate.
All right. Well, I stand correct. The word delicate. You know, which you could say, something that's delicate is kind of soft, you know. But that's a better term though, delicate. Because we're weak right now. We're kind of delicate. We're in a weak situation right now. That's why it says in the scriptures as well. It says it talks about how Jacob is like a worm. In other words, we're weak.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, brother, you can give me that.
Yeah, there's a scripture.
Hold on, let me see if I can find that precept. There's scriptures in my mind, and there's other scriptures that ain't in my mind right now. So I'm gonna get them scriptures. But yeah, read what you got.
Yeah, it says, verse 23, in the mountain of the height of Israel will I plant it, and it shall bring forth boughs and bear fruit, and be a goodly cedar.
Right, and be a goodly cedar. And what's going to make the cedar a goodly cedar? Because the commandments are going to be coming forth towards that cedar. When you read in the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, the word of the Lord is going to go out of Mount Zion. So we're gonna keep the commandments of the Heavenly Father, and those other nations are gonna keep the commandments of the Heavenly Father, and they're gonna be running under our vibration, therefore bringing forth goodness and godliness on the planet. So that's how that seed is gonna become a goodly seed.
It says, and under it shall dwell all fowls of every wing.
41 verse.
In the shadow of the branches thereof shall they dwell.
Yep, go on.
And all the trees of the field shall know that I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree.
Right, I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree. So they're going to know that the most powerful in this nation that was set up upon the earth, Most High brought it down.
Did that?
Go on, bro.
Have exalted the low tree.
Right.
Have dried up the green tree.
And also it's going to be well known, he have exalted the low tree. You see that? Because everybody's thinking that, which you would think that because we're in a lower state right now, and also in a lower state of mind, so you would think something so great can never fall.
Oh.
But the Most High is going to show us that's on a lower, a lower realm, that all is possible. Like I said last week, you live in the reality, or you should live in the reality, and know that all is possible because that's the real world.
Yeah.
Okay, a great thing can be brought down to nothing.
Yeah.
Like for example, Tyson, as we also talk about, Mike Tyson, he was one of the best boxers of all time, right? But he became weak, man.
Yeah.
He didn't have the flavor like he had before. So just because you're great in stature, that don't mean that you're always going to be in that higher estate. Like Lennox Lewis was a I think, to be honest with you, when you check out the stats, I think Lennox Lewis, he was better than Mike Tyson.
Okay, yeah.
When you check it out, when you really study that particular time period of boxing, Lennox Lewis, he was knocking them all out, man. You know what I mean? But the thing with Lennox Lewis, he lost the soul, he lost the flavor. He was
more of a chess player, but Lennox Lewis was more of a chess player.
Yeah.
Tyson was a brawler.
Yeah.
Raw power and strength.
Exactly, yeah.
So on paper, Lennox Lewis technically was a better boxer.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Because I mean, like when you think about it, you would